Welcome to the Stephen Cooley Real Estate Show. I'm Julie Storm, and today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to turn the tables on Stephen Cooley.
Oh, this will be fun.
So, Stephen, you're ranked national. I think you finished number 9 in the world this
We did.
year.
Honored. My team works hard, so we finished 9th in the world.
Been in the business a long time.
My entire adult life.
Yep. And so sometimes it's just good to just kind of delve into, who is Stephen Cooley? What is this all about?
Right.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay, well,
We'll
this
turn
will
the
be good. This will be
tables
fun.
today.
Good.
So let's start out with, what do you think is some of the best advice you've ever received?
Julie, some of the best advice I've ever received in just my entire life that doesn't necessarily pertain to real estate is somebody told me early on in my career is to get up, dress up, and show up. And if you do that consistently through your entire life, it will put you in like the top 5% of whatever industry you're in, whether it be real estate or something else. So no matter what's been going on, whether it's snowing or personal things going on in my personal life, I've always got up, dressed up for the day, and went to work. And I guess basically just showed up for the day. And I've looked back now, and that's probably some of the best advice I ever got.
Being present, that's just
being present, and being up, and being ready for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, what's some of the best advice you've ever given?
Well, some of the best advice I've ever given in real estate would be your first investment should be your home. A lot of people, especially millennials today, they're looking at investing in stocks and bonds and all these things, and they haven't bought their first home yet. And your home is the only investment. There's other investments, but it's the only investment I've found in the world that actually lets you use the investment. You don't get to play with stocks and live in stocks, and you don't get to play with your bonds every day, but you certainly get to play with your house every day and live in it and use it, and it still go up in value. It's also the only investment I found where a third party will loan money for you to buy that investment. It's hard to get a loan to buy stock, but a third party, a bank, a mortgage company will loan money for you to buy a home and actually take 96.5% of the risk in loaning the money. And then they don't ask for any of the profit when you sell. And it's tax deductible while you make the payments, and the profits are tax free. So I think some of the best advice I've ever given is let your first investment be real estate.
Gotcha.
Be your primary home.
So who are some of your role models?
They've evolved and changed over the years as I've changed. I really love Warren Buffett's story, and I think there's 2 reasons I love his story, and I've just read a book that he wrote. He's written many books, but one is most of his wealth has been built after the age of 50, and I'm 50. The other thing is he reads about 500 pages in business every day. And I read something years ago that said if you read an hour a day in your industry, every day, within 7 years you'll be a national speaker on whatever industry that is. And so I try to read probably not 500 pages a day. Another role model I have is Gary Keller, owner of Keller Williams. He's a visionary, and he really is studying the real estate market at all times. He's certainly a success story. He had no money, got into real estate. Now he owns Keller Williams, the largest company and real estate company in the North America. And then in family, I've had a great mom, as many of us have had, and she's taught me to be a gentleman and to take life on at full force, and so she's been a good role model too.
Those are great role models.
Thank you.
Well, if you had to say what's the number one thing that a buyer should remember buying a home?
I think the number one thing a buyer should remember, and this is so old, but location, location, location. You can go out to the middle of nowhere and get a mansion, or you can live right in the middle of the best schools, great access to your work, great access to shopping and restaurants, and you're going to pay more. But the happiness in a home over a long period of time, Julie, is if it's close to school, if it's close to work, if you got to drive 45 minutes to get your kids to school and get them up at 5:30 in the morning, if you've got to drive an hour to work, if you've got to drive 45 minutes every time you need a loaf of bread or some milk, then you're really probably not going to be happy in that home long term. So it's worth paying for the location. The good news is the locations vary on who people are and where they work and what kind of schools they want and what kind of lifestyle they want. So my location may be totally different than your location, so that still works for everybody. But base everything on location, not necessarily the house or how big the yard is or anything like that, but just be close to the things you do, because if you spend your life on the road, you've wasted a lot of time.
That makes perfect sense. Well, what would be the number one thing that you would tell sellers when they're selling their home?
It's been a pleasure. I've sold about 10,000 homes in my 29-year career, and a lot of those have been sellers. And I would say the number one advice to a seller is probably the number one thing that's hardest to do is detach yourself from that home. It's been your home. It's been where you've raised your family. It's where you've had good times, bad times. You've cooked, you've slept, and now you really need to detach it. And I always say, go back from it being a home to a house, because now you're trying to get someone else to buy it. And some people are going to like your home, some people are not going to like it, some people are going to think your decorating's bad, someone's going to like it, and you just got to really detach yourself from something. If you're selling something and you're attached to it, it's almost impossible to sell. So my advice to sellers is to detach.
All right, well, let's get out the crystal ball and say, what does the future of real estate look like?
Well, the future of real estate looks really good. You know, the United States is so favorable to home ownership. We're one of the few countries that allows you to write off your payments. We're one of the few countries that lets your profit on your primary residence be tax-free. So our system and our economy is so set up for home ownership that I think the real estate market is going to continue to boom. As far as homes go, buying smaller lots, more compact homes is the way of the future. And if you look around our neighborhoods now that are booming, the homes are on very small lots. The homes offer a lot, but they're just not mega mansions like they used to be. People want to be convenient to everything.
Back to location.
Yeah.
Okay, what motivates Stephen Cooley?
Well, I would say, thank you for asking me that, two things motivate me. One would be, I like to provide local jobs, and I currently provide 28 local jobs in York County. I wish that the government and everything was more favorable to small businesses. It's actually, over a long period of time, hard to own a small business. But I am motivated to provide employment to people. The second thing, Julie, I would say is that I really want to change the face of real estate, change the services that are offered to buyers and sellers and make those superior, make the home buying process such a great event that motivates me and keeps me going, is those two things. So.
Well, this is awesome. It's awesome to kind of delve into what makes Stephen Cooley tick. And
well, I appreciate that. It's an honor to have done the show for 15, 16 years, yes, and to have done it with you for that long time.
It's been fun.
So
it's been
I appreciate you and Comporium for doing that, and thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Stay tuned. There's lots of great homes for sale, and we'll be right back.
I hope you've enjoyed watching the Stephen Cooley Real Estate Show. If you're interested in advertising your business on the program, please give us a call at 803-326-2777. Join us next week for more discussions on real estate topics and help in finding your perfect home. Thanks for watching.